Walk with me.
Yahuwah. Who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear Yahweh. He that swears to his own hurt and changeth not, and he that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Psalms chapter 15. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray, O my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. A prayer of Abram. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you that are viewing this platform and those shared platforms. We thank God for you, and you. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning. And we thank God for those of you that have come in somewhere between and there's about. And we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed. And we give God the glory for those of you that are about to subscribe. We call those things that are not as though they are. Yes, 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 yes. We give God the praise. To get right into the word, should I say the holy books, historical books about a people, about God's plan for the earth. Yes, God's plan, God's plan. Yes, and we're in, excuse me, Jasher. We're in the book of Jasher chapter 22 at this time, chapter 22. We're going to delve into the other chapter also as we have time. But Jasher, tongue twister again, Jasher chapter 42. Now we know that in 41 it says Isaac was 37 years old. Now Rebekah was born. She's still a baby now, according to this narrative. Rebekah is a baby, and Isaac is 37 years old. So apparently somewhere he was at least about 30 years older than Rebekah. If I got my numbers right. Now, you can correct me on that. I don't mind being corrected on some things when you can prove what you're trying to do. I don't get angry at people or try to argue with you. I try to back off from my argument, but sometimes I do love to argue, but other than that, not argue, or should I say debate. I put it that way, but debating is not God's way. You either believe God or you don't. Now, and that is such a temptation to debate. But anyway, he was growing up. He was a man at this time of 37 years old. I mean, today's dates, at today's age limits to 70, 80, 90 years old, a man dies somewhere in between. There's about on that one. But the fact is that he lived to 37 years old. And in verse 42, it says, Ishmael, because Ishmael moved him. Ishmael was an upright man now. Do not get Ishmael wrong. He was not a wicked man. He had his ways, but Ishmael was not a wicked man. Now, his sons may have been wicked during the time of, should I say, Jacob, but the fact is, Ishmael was a righteous man, and he really loved his father, Abram. Yes. And Ishmael boasted of himself to Isaac, saying, I was 13 years old when the I Am spoke to my father to circumcise us. And I did according to the word of the I Am, which he spoke to my father, and I gave my soul unto the I Am, and I did not transgress his word, which he commanded my father. Now, these are men. You know, they're talking like boys, but really they're grown men. Now, you can imagine that Ishmael was at least 13 to 14 years older than Isaac. They were brothers. I mean, he loved his brother. regardless of being broke, his father made sure his sons, you fathers, you have to make sure your sons are together. If you have them by different women, make sure your children know each other, that they understand each other, because those are your children. They're the woman's children, but they are your children mostly. It comes from your seed. You're the one that gave that child life. Life came from you and into the woman. It's like a butterfly, and then it went and it turned into something else like a human being. It gestated and became a human being. And the woman carried that out in nurturing that flesh up until the time prepared for the father. See, there's a time a woman has to just let go of her sons and give them to the father and allow them to be with their father. Yes. So Isaac answered Ishmael in verse 43 saying, "Why dost thou boast to me about this, about a little bit of thy flesh?" He said, "You ain't cut but a little bit off, probably about maybe a quarter, maybe an eighth of an inch. That's all he did, which thou didst take from thy body concerning the I am commanded, I am commanded thee." Now, if you would like to do those things yourself to yourself, have at it if it's to you. There is nothing that they can do about you clipping a little bit of flesh off of yourself. And the same thing when you clip some nickel, you can't go to jail for clipping fingernails off or cutting your hair if you know how to cut it. See, these are money-making schemes. But anyway, not many men are able to circumcise themselves because of the pain or just the thought of it. But either way, why dost thou boast to me about this, about a little bit of thy flesh? Now, verse 44. Now, these men, they're really younger men. At this time, they're younger men. They're still, in their follies. A man in his 30s still has his own follies and stuff, but yet he can be, he's still trying. He's not an old man that have experienced life he hasn't experienced life like an older man. I'll put it that way. And these things are, they're serious, but they're to the point where they're boasting at each other. Now, here is you have some are greatly matured as men. See, between that 25 and that 35, or should I say even to 40, even in the 40s, men can do some crazy things. But either way, now, we go to verse 44, and he says, "As the Lord, as the I am, or Yahweh, yes, I said Allah, liveth, the God of my father Abraham, if the Yahweh should say unto my father, Take now thy son Isaac, and bring him up an offering before me, I would not refrain, but I would joyfully accede to it." I would agree to it. Yes. Now, you get that. Now, Yah means I am. He said, I am that I am. Yah means I am. Allah means God. I am God. I am Yahweh. I am Hawa. I am Hua. I am Hawashai. I am Nisi. In other words, that suffix or that second part of the word means something that God have done or that God is. He's your power. He's the one that have delivered you. He feeds you. He's the one he makes your face to shine. He is health. Yes, I am that I am. But the confusion is when the men give God different names. And this is where he even shows himself in different ways, and they would say, Yah did so and so, is what they're really saying. Now, let's continue. Now he says, and the I am heard. Now be careful what you say, boy, young man or younger man. Be careful what you say before the Most High. He heard the word of Isaac, that Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good in the sight of the I am. Okay, you say so. Let's see. And he thought to try Abraham in this manner. This is an angel talking to Moses, giving him these stories in detail. No, it's no man trying to tell you. Said, who wrote this? It's an angel. If you go to the book of Jubilees, you'll find it's one of the 24 elderly looking angels, as John saw in the book of Revelation. No, it wasn't no Israelite or nothing like that. They were spirits before the Most High. Now, and the I am said unto Satan, whence comest thou? And Satan answered the I am and said, from going to and fro in the earth. Now, this word should be written one of the Satans. Now, because there are many Satans. Satans is a group of devils or fallen angels. They are Satans. Now, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it. And the I am said to the Satan, what is thy word to me concerning all the children of the earth? In other words, God is saying, hey, he created this Satan. They evil. They hate us. But the fact is that he's saying, what is thy word to me concerning the children of the earth? And Satan answered the I am and said, I have seen all the children of the earth who serve thee and remember thee when they require anything from thee. Look at here. Come on here. These are some truths you ought to take hold of. There's a spirit. There are evil spirits. They're watching you. They're there to accuse you. But if they cannot find wherewith to accuse you, they're going to find somewhere to get God to allow them to test you. Come on here. We got to get this right. We got some truths here in this Bible that we don't understand. You got some people go way off in left field somewhere, but you have to ignore those people. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to have their followers, because this is what it's about, that they might be led away from the Most High because they were tested and failed. And with this, you have to know the word of the Most High in order not to fail. Now, he says, now, the Satan answered that I am. I have seen all the children of the earth who serve thee and remember thee when they require anything from thee. And when thou givest them the thing which they require from thee, they sit at their ease and forsake thee, and they remember thee no more. As thou hast seen Abraham, the son of Terah, who at first they know your name. I remember a time when I was younger. This devil was in this man. But I'm not going to go all the way into the story, just paraphrasing it. But he was in this man, and this guy would get drunk, and he would be clinically unconscious. And this was, the hospital confirmed, he was clinically unconscious. He was an alcoholic. And he was a roommate with me in the military, yes, okay. But one day I was just sleeping. I went to bed, I get to bed to get up early, being that good Marine. And for all of a sudden, I was feeling, an anointing. And then next thing you know, this guy got up and he said my name. He didn't know my name. He was a new roommate. I heard stories about him that he was an alcoholic, but I never seen anything of him. And his eyes was like blood red when he looked at me. He got in there, and next thing you know, a spirit came and said, look, some of them are going out. He was talking about the evil spirits. He said, some of them are leaving, but some will remain. And I saw this guy climb up on his bunk, he started reaching toward the sky like something he's trying to get out of himself or something. And then he fell to his bed like a dead man. And I just said, wow. And I just started worshiping God and giving God the glory and the praise. And he just let you know the devils know your name. If you're walking close with God and God has a plan for you and God is doing things for you and he's showing you things and he's preparing you for whatever you have to do, whether woman, if it's you to help your husband in his ministry, or you help your husband in rearing children and doing these things that are needful to help others, whether it's giving or whatever, they know your name. If your name is in the street as a righteous person, if your name is in the street as a person who cares and do these things, they know your name. Don't worry about if they know your name, then God knows your name. But the fact is that when you are evil and you have backed away from the Most High, it seems as though they forget, they don't even know who you are. They know you by your spirit. They don't know you. If your spirit is with God, they know that spirit. But if your spirit is falling away from the Most High, they don't know you. and they will rend you just like they did the sons of in the book of, I think it's Matthew. Yes, Matthew. Now, let's continue. Now he says, and now his son Isaac is born to him. He has forsaken thee. Now, see, he's lying to the Most High. Isaac has not forsaken the I Am. He was taught by his own father either way. Now, he has made a great feast for all the inhabitants of the land, and the I Am he has forgotten. Now, to understand all these scriptures, it's best to go ahead and read the whole Bible as a novel. I mean, read it all the way through. You don't stop to study. Just read it. If you do it 2 or 3 times, you might want to stop here and there to note something. But the fact is, you have to understand the context of the Most High, the context of the word, the history, the context of what God is saying and what is God conveying. In other words, and then when you go read it again and study other things, these things come back to you as to what the God or Yahweh is saying. Yes. What is he saying? Yes, I said that. That doesn't mean he's a devil. Allah doesn't mean devil. These people, most of the time, they're people who have been in other religions who's trying to sway people from one religion to another. And by, just like you had some Muslims that have said black people are cursed. These Muslims are not even, the demons don't even know them. God don't even know them. You cannot say that. Even written in a book they did, trying to put down those of a darker hue. Because you do not know. The children of Shem, they're in India, they're in Africa. The children of Shem are all over the place. And the children of Jacob, now that's a special group. Now Shem is vast, and Jacob is too. Who can number them? Now thou hast seen Abraham. Now in verse 52, for amidst all that he has done, he brought thee no offering, neither burnt offering, nor peace offering, neither ox, lamb, or goat that he killed. He's saying this is at the time when he had the celebration that Isaac was born, because it was from the womb of Sarah that Isaac was born, and even Ishmael was there. Now, on the day his son was weaned, in other words, now it's time for me to handle my son, teach him my wisdom. My son is ready. He can walk, he can talk. I said to myself, if I ever adopt one, I would adopt a boy that's already weaned, that's already a toddler, just about, to teach him, to show him things. Yes. If I were able to do such thing, yes. Now, I might, I don't know. But either way, even from the time of his son's birth till now, being 37 years, he built no altar before thee, nor brought any offering to thee. For he saw that thou didst give what he requested before thee, and he therefore forsook thee. Now, this is another lie. God promised Abraham seed. Come on here. God looked at him, you fool. I see what I'm saying. I see what I did. I'm just paraphrasing. You're just imagining things. I mean, you can look at somebody, you know the truth about something, and you look at somebody just lying straight to your face. But yet you have a point here. Isaac boasted, and so did Ishmael. He boasted. He boasted in the circumcision, and the other one boasted that if his father was to use him as an offering, that he would become an offering. And the I Am said to the Satan, hast thou considered my servant Abraham? Now you heard that in the book of Job, right? You heard that. For there is none like him upon the earth, a perfect and upright man before me, one that feareth God and avoid evil. As I live, therefore I say unto him, bring up Isaac, thy son, before me. And he would not withhold him from me. Much more, if I told him to bring up a burnt offering before me from his flock or herds. And Satan answered the I Am, said, speak now to Abram, as thou hast said, and thou wilt see whether he will not this day transgress and cast aside thy words. God knows your heart. God knows your sincerity. You cannot fool the I Am. You cannot fool him. You cannot fool Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh. Wait. What does W-E-H means? Wait. Ya Allah. What does Allah mean? I am whatever that means. That's what it means. I am. Now, I am that I am. Hey. Now, let's continue. You research these things that I say and you'll see. This is for your confusion, really. It's for your confusion. He's the creator. He says, I am that I am, because he knew probably men would say things like they're saying today. He knew false prophets and everything was going to rise and that things was going to happen. Yes, he did. Now he says, speak now unto Abraham as thou hast said, and thou wilt see whether he will not this day transgress and cast aside thy words. Okay. Verse 23. And at the time the word of the I am came to Abram, he said unto him, Abraham. And he said, here am I. He said to him, take now thy son, thine only son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which shall be shown to thee, for there wilt thou see a cloud and the glory of the I am. Okay, you will see it. Now Abraham said within himself, now shall I separate my son Isaac from Sarah, his mother? I mean, this is Sarah's only son. Sarah will not let him go. And you have some women, they have sons and they are well in their 60s, I've seen. And their mother is still with their mother. They don't live with her, but they're their mother. Their mother will not let them go. Now, he was only 37 at this time, according to this narrative, yes. And Abraham came into the tent and he sat before Sarah, his wife, and he spoke these words. I mean, he respected Sarah. Because, man, you got to respect your wife. Because your wife humbled herself before you. Doesn't mean you can act big bag and slap her around and treat her like a dirty and left-handed or muddy slave or someone that's been born in captivity or something. No, you cannot do that. That's abomination before the Most High. You cannot do that. Because then the commandments hold in together. Yeah, she's poor, but she's rich in you. So the fact is, or she's the same as you in her, because what is yours is hers. You cannot do that. Whether you have one or many wives, they all share in the same. And you cannot treat one better than the other. But you treat them according to their character, just as God treats us. Yes. Now Abraham came into the tent and he sat before Sarah, his wife, and he spoke these words. My son Isaac is grown up, and he has not for some time studied the service of his God. Now, tomorrow I will go and bring him to Shem. No, he's grown up, 34 years old still. I mean, he probably has his own tent, but he's in the same area as his mother and father. Yes, these people lived in tents. They were nomads at this time. Now, I will go bring him to Shem and Eber, his son. And there he will learn the ways of the I am, for they will teach him to know the I am, as well as to know what when he prayeth continually before the I am, he will answer him. Therefore, there he will know the way of serving the I am his God. It's the same thing with you, man. You got to remove your sons from the woman, period. And you must know the way of God, or you should find somewhere where he can learn, and both of you can learn the way of the Most High together, that he might be a wise father and a wise man in his life while he's yet young. I mean, he's in his childhood, he's going to be foolish. He's going to have much folly. But the fact is to know the way of the Most High. Many of them might not like it. They might want to go with mama because mama's nurturing. No, mama has to give him up. And it's your time to work with your son. Now, And you have to realize one thing. This world is set up to where the father's always missing out the family. Either you're truck driving or you're on a long trip, you're in military excursions and doing training and everything else. And then your time is just, he's trying to take you out to move you. And a lot of times you will not be with your family. And here he is, the woman is left with the children and the boys. They don't have the father with them to even know the things. Or she could be grooming the children against you. You don't know. But 9 times out of 10, she's not. Now, the thing is saying, Sarah took her son, Isaac, and he abode all that night with her. And he slept in her with a kid, in her tent. And she kissed him, 34-year-old man. But that doesn't mean anything. She was a boy to him. And embraced him and gave him instructions till morning. You probably say, oh, my goodness. But anyway, she said to him, "O my son, how can your soul separate itself from thee? How can my soul separate itself from thee?" And she still kissed him and embraced him. You would think of a woman speaking a different language, just rubbing her sons on her face and, just doing this, worried about he's going to be demised and she don't know what's going to happen to him. You can't protect your son, woman. There's nothing you can do for him. But his father or those around him can teach him how to protect himself and how to understand and know danger. Now, she gave Abraham instructions concerning him. And Sarah said to Abraham, "Oh, my God, I pray thee, take heed of my son and place thine eyes over him, for I have no other son nor daughter but him. Oh, forsake him not. If he be hungry, give him bread, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Do not let him go on foot, neither let him sit in the sun." See, this is the way a mother's going to pray, especially with her only son. "And neither let him go by himself in the road, neither force him from whatever he may desire. But do unto him as he may say to thee." And Sarah wept bitterly the whole night on account of Isaac, and she gave him instructions till morning. And in the morning, Sarah selected a very fine and beautiful garment from those garments. This is where you get the traditions of a ribbon or a piece of hair or something that belongs to the woman that she gives to the man she loves, whether it's a son or a husband. These are two different types of love, but either way, they're the same, and then there's more. Okay, for the husband, there is more erotica and camaraderie, and for the father, there's camaraderie, there's helpmate, there's you have that compatibility, a friend. For the son is different. That's your offspring. Okay, and she dressed Isaac, her son, therewith, and she put a turban upon his head. And she enclosed a precious stone in the top of the turban, and she gave them provisions for the road. And she went forth, and Isaac went with his father Abraham, and some of their servants accompanied them to see them off the road. And Sarah went out with them, and she accompanied them upon the road to see them off. And they said to her, "Return to the tent." In other words, here's Sarah saying, "Bye, bye." She knew something was going on. But Abram did not tell her. You don't tell your wife everything. Whether it has to do with the son that only you can deal with, or have to do with just business or things that she shouldn't know. It's a man thing, okay? We put it that way. And she's not going to tell you everything that she do, long as she's not disrespecting you behind your back, because she will become as a nail that needs to be removed. Yes, it's not in a sure place. It's not holding up the tent. It has to go. But the fact is, now she accompanied them to the road. And Sarah went out with them, and she accompanied them upon the road to see them off. And they said to her, "Return to the tent." And when Sarah heard the words of her son Isaac, she wept bitterly, and Abraham and her husband, such a sad thing, wept with her, and with their son wept with them a great weeping, and those who went with them wept greatly. Everybody crying. And with this, we're going to say,